when I see here, do as the Romans do, right? When you're in Rome, do as the Romans do. This is a topic on our kind of women, Asian women, particularly the experiences I've seen. Some of them, the ones with low self-esteem. The reason is because their fathers and their mothers are too strict on them. That we are all, as men, we are also trying. I'm sick and tired with my dad as well, all that. But I'm trying to not put that up. I'm trying to flow with the conversation with the youngsters these days. Some people and some men find it very hard. When we look at the so-called incel movement, right, everything is it depending on women and all that, red pill and everything. Yes, it does, sort of. But that's not the way it can go. We can do better. It does not need to be because women, they're just fucking like hive-minded. They just look wherever the thing goes. They're the ones who also ignored when the Nazis took in power and they went along with it. They went along with... They complain about communism and all that, but they're the ones who went with it. So when we talk about, okay, MGTOW, we've got white man, traditional masculinity problem. All these things, in a certain sense, it is kind of a problem. Traditional masculinity is not a problem on the terms that, well, so far we're still trying to push the system to its very limits when we know the system is collapsing. When you look at, they're not conspiracy theories. These people have looked at it for so long and it's coming all true. But the question is, where do you put the sort of carrot and a stick to like a better carrot and a stick? But it's still a carrot and a stick, right? You're in a system. People working bad jobs, and they say it's still a better to communism. No. If you realize people always complain about these different shading opposite systems. They are one and the same. It's only the white people complaining about it because they're the ones who don't know that their kind created this very same system that pushes both capitalism and communism. Jordan Maxwell said it himself best. They put it in the bankers. And then when the communism, the reason why the Soviet Union failed is not because it's of Stalin, he wanted the power for himself. It's because of the groups that allowed it. When in Mao Zedong's communist China, the reason why Asian women today are so backwards, spineless to their own man. I mean, we can attribute it to hypergamy. But the one thing is that in communist China, people are starving and getting ripped off, killed so badly by their higher counterpart peers. The poor is getting ripped to shreds. The babies killed by the rich people. In communist China, there's more civil wars, uprisings against their own kinds than what would you say? Mass starvation and all that. In Tiananmen Square, the Western world is quick to judge. They're hypocrites. They're fucking hypocrites in their own country. They would like to talk about democracy and all that, but the system here, the very system that they enslave others in other countries, those immigrants that come here, they just allow them to get a quick buck, but they don't care whether they die or not. They just care about the money, the system. As long as the work ethic is good, they ask about honesty, but they don't give you in return to it. So these people have assimilated into the culture of indifference, the new Rome. Britain is not just the new Rome which America is. Britain is the ultimate evil system empire of it, enslaved through everybody. But without communism, you started that. They're the reason why communism failed. You will say, yes, it's exactly because of that. No money. You can't, and it's not only that, because of the people that are greedy. You don't need money. You don't absolutely need money. It's the people who got greedy inevitably and had to utilize the system, communism, in terms of corporate, collective democratic system. That's what communism really is. We're looking at it right now through the Western countries because that's the end game. It's not because the communists are taking over. It's exactly the reason why the communists are taking over. Because the capitalists, and it always goes through a certain period of system like that. Both sides of the coin are the same. Whether they're both the different ends of the face, heads, tails, they're still part of the same coin. That's why Jackie Chan said it. Politics and terrorism. All these movies that whether you say shit or whatever, it's all telling you a certain kind of truth. You don't want to believe it, that's the reason why they made you not believe it. They dumbed you down so much, I don't know what kind of, And we're not taking care of our own kind here. We're not taking care of the Asians. The Asians are not taking care of each other. They've been whitewashed themselves. It's so spineless. You really have to blame. It's not because the white people are perfect. When we talk about racism, we don't want to be here either. But we're forced to ass backwards. It's spineless. Because why? We're in your country. We have to do the way things do. In fact, English is not even as useful as Chinese is, or Spanish, or Japanese, or anything. Even if it's localized, half of these fucking nations have better GDP than... Okay, fine. Even if Britain is the heart of the economic hub, and that's the reason why they're trying to destroy, or that they're trying to put the Anglo-Saxon mission to plan. Whether we agreed that, okay, yes, you really look at on the surface, it looks very nice. But unfortunately, that's not going as the way it is. Rampant racism, when it comes to it, like Chinese, right, and the Westerns, the British, Kiwis, the Australians, even if you treat your own kind a bit bad, you still treat your own kind as good as the Chinese do. The Chinese, I'm ashamed to also feel the way it is. It's not just about race. Race is not just humanity itself, different skin colors. It goes back to extraterrestrial groups. Who's the line? Sure, spirit, like, you don't want to hear the conspiracy theorist part now, that's fine, but it's a reality, it's a fact. That's the thing about it. You wanna know that actually you are infinite consciousness. You are sort of in just a particular body now, but you are whims. You're subjected to these whims of your bodies, adapt, and you want to go because that's humans. That's the way it goes. You can't do anything about it. You wanna. It's like girls and all, and so whatever. They want genuinely. They're not nice guys. They're not the so-called. That's just what they're saying because they want to turn their back on it. Some people are genuinely nice guys. Sure, I mean everybody's. Face it. Every person wants to take advantage. That's the truth in it. Whether we call it kindness. Sure, you're supposed to always give something and nothing for return. That's kindness. But that's not how the way the world's going to work now. We did our best to show our women kindness. They gave us nothing in return. And so, what is it? They're angry, they're like, scared, or they don't want a thing, and then you realize, you're just a beta. Because why? I'm a beta. Oh no, I want to get this alpha male. Oh, white male is any better. Wait, they can probably laugh at us, but we don't laugh. We can seriously decimate. We can do the best if we uprise. That's why, actually, the truth is the majority of it is still good. We're still accepted. They're still with the Asian kinds. Because this is the way it is. You can't. It's like, people renting dogs, right? People have pets. Some dogs are good. The reason why is because they want loyalty. They get upset by humans because humans can't talk back. Because they also want that kind of quality they can't find in a human being. It really is about race, unfortunately. People always say about white race and all that. And they hate the Asian races because it humiliates, but we are actually quite strong as well. The truth is, They want to blame it on us, but they don't realize their own kind is actually doing the same thing to them. It's actually the US that agreed to, talk about all this Wuhan Chinese things. They're the ones who are complicit. Your own country is complicit in making COVID. Not the Chinese. The Chinese are hiding it because if they were to find out, the US would immediately proxy fire and start the war against China, and China wants to hold it as long as possible. The government's still part of the elites, because that's what it is. It's a long-term goal. They're all part of it. You can't blame China for being it, because it's already been subverted. Because I don't know, I hope not. I hope it's still a different system to what the Western, but it really is, unfortunately, at the end. The West, the Europe's have dominated, have enslaved and all that. And it's just, I ask myself the question, if not the Western nations, if not the white people, then who? You can clearly look at the Japanese, or you can clearly look at the Asians. They're just as brutal as the whites. No. The whites are even more. You could say that. You could say, okay, we've seen the African nations. They are very brutal. You could see the so-called barbaric. No. It's not true. Because in some nations, some African nations, they've had no crime. They've had empires that had cities that, Native Americans even. Sure, Native Americans, some of them are barbaric and all that, but some cultures do the best, very best, to make it seem effortlessly well done. No crime, no nothing. The sexual practices of Native Americans, some of it I've heard. No man is lack without. Some of the men that lack, they're gonna force a woman with him, or they're just gonna this guy's really being a real dickhead. We have to cast him out. And the woman's gonna do it. Not the men. Not the men are not gonna even the men are just gonna no. And she's gonna find him his own way. He's gonna reflect on that. The women aren't gonna laugh at him. The men aren't gonna laugh at him. He's just gonna cast it out. But now everybody's, it's the Western nation is completely, We have to really talk about what? Oh, the betas gathered, and that's the reason why you're saying weak man create hard times create strong man. That's a falsification. The truth is, people just want a target easy to grasp. It's not the reason because of that. Strong men create hard times. That's why you see Bill Gates, Rothschilds, and all that. This ain't a conspiracy theory, mate. That's the reason why they push their dominant system. They only want their kind to succeed. Strong men create hard times. It's not the other way around. We call it the weak man. No, the weak man will surely... There's two types of weaknesses. One is that you've been weak, and you're weak because you're spineless. You can't do it. On the other hand, you're weak because, like Will Smith, right? He thought he was badass. I also kind of feel it a bit. But the other kind of weakness is humiliation. When a person's been humiliated, but he has inner strength. He does have. His body might be small, because and the things might is right. You want to seem big and all that. Otherwise, people will challenge. Because of the Anunnaki or whatsoever. Because we look like them. They do not look like us. You would, if you're humiliated, what can you do? That's the certain definition of being weak men right there. You're born so-called weak. You're looked at weak in societal standards, but you do your best to feel very, very up on the top, up on the level, no matter how bad you are. I had an experience once. I went up to army kind of guys and police officers, and I just told them a couple of questions. Hey, man, is it like that? These were fucking soldiers. You think some other people would be pissed and scared. Oh, this is my business and all that. Or I was like, oh, do you deserve a cookie just for that? No. I just did it because I liked it. Like, I carry in, some people say, oh, do you feel bad? You know, you feel bad for, like, carrying a holster carry. Does that make you feel good? The reason they're putting the blame on the victims. These people don't want to carry a gun. They carry a gun because it really is power. It really is power. Knowing it really is power. Self-control. These people are strong. But unfortunately, society doesn't view that. They always view the school shooter as the bad guy. That's why they make quiet kid jokes. Because they don't realize that the quiet kid is really the hurt one. They don't realize the people in Yemen are really the hurt ones, not the fucking Ukrainians. But because we live in a society that live in a kind of civilization that prizes that, they talk about might is right, but they're actually just deflecting the Machiavellian kind of. They're using the Machiavellian kind of psychology here. It's like that juvenile kid, that juvenile type of memory you had at school. You made a mistake, the other guy bullies you, and he blames you. That wasn't me, teacher, that was him. And then you get blamed up for it. But the truth is, you try to stand yourself up and the teacher blames you. But the truth is, if they got CCTV, they'll realize that this is not the case at all. But do they bother? No. So how do you conquer this? How do you conquer to talk about the betas and all that? When some betas are really alphas, they want, to be honest, I don't need to push it. I don't need to defend my self-worth. Everything I do in my status, my thing will always be reflected upon my hard work. That's the truth. I don't need to talk to you about it. I don't need to care about it. Indifference is the greatest key. That's why women use indifference socially. It destroys also the men because the men want a response. And the men, they're backbone, spineless people for like laughing with the woman. They don't care. The woman's imperatives are different to yours. They it depends on what their agenda is though. But agreed, they will like it because it was. So if you talk with the whites, it's just that it's terrible. So you can't do anything. All you can hope for is people themselves to agree to the karma they're gonna get. I lived this life with all the karma I got. I must have been a guy who probably laughed at a kid in the past and now I'm getting for it. And I can guarantee you it's not fun. People who laugh at other people, all these people, they're fucking gonna get it one day. The bullies are gonna get it one day. We promise. They're gonna suffer like we suffered, like the victims have suffered. One of these days, that's the truth. That's the truth. And that's the reason why. The truth is the current socio-economic order, current status quo, is just nothing more than a farce by the ones who are controlling the system, and they're pushing your thoughts out onto the system, but they really know they still control the system at all costs. They put a black man as a precedent, but during the tenure of this presidency, 3 wars have been waged against black men. A lot of people have been killed because of their skin color, and now nothing has changed. And then more interracial relationships have been. Your own women are becoming more spineless. System is collapsing. Decadence. Every fucking child who... I feel sorry. I also want a car, but I realize, every child in Yemen are the ones who live poorly in Auckland, South Auckland. They're suffering. And the pedophiles, they call it pedophiles and all that. The women themselves are trying to prostitute themselves. Men hate pedophiles and all that. It's just the men. But the women themselves prostitute themselves for it, and they agree to the prostitution. They agree to be prostituted to the highest bidder, whatever, because they call it hypergamy. But they complain. They say, no, this is the system we live in. You can mock, but this is the bare bones truth of it all. Your woman The Western women are increasingly becoming worse and worse and worse. But we don't do it. Our women, of course, it's worse than the black, the white, the Asian, the Latino woman. The fucking Latino woman still has some senses. Every woman race out there, I don't know. Even the Japanese, the Southeast Asian woman. I don't know if they're there. Or the ones who live in China, I don't know. Some of them, some Asian women. But the majority of them are still getting a bit more and more. Of course, it's also about looks. The ones who don't have the looks, they always tend to always want the hypergamous. The worse they get, the more hypergamous they get. But the worse men get, the more they try to be a man set by social standards as guaranteed, but they can't. And so they put such a huge shell to it. That's the truth. People, if you want to fix the system, you gotta demolish it all. I'm not really sort of. I'm against the white system, of course. I'm against white people. As much as they like to present themselves, they really are enslavers, killers, prostitutes. Why you hate us? I hate our system so much. Why are you talking English? I don't want to fucking talk English. But it's only the language I got. I want to talk. I feel so ashamed that I can't talk Chinese. If I could talk Chinese, I wouldn't be here. I would be back in China. I don't care about the systems like that. You got no idea how a system is run in Chinese. Some people, the Westerners, they know how the system runs. Serpents, they can complain as much as they like, but they know at least the system is a bit better. Sure, we hate it. We hate communists like, human rights and all that. But your system over here is no better than ours over there. RNZ, every New Zealand goddamn media state is censoring comments. At least Chinese-run state media allows the comments. But here, the comments has been disabled. What kind of fucking country are you trying to put? What kind of example are you trying to put if you are not holding up to your standards? I tell myself, alright, I'm a hypocrite. I hate interracial dating, but myself jack off to porn. And we got interracial things. Because the trouble is, it's the animators fluid. The only best thing you can like is people who agree to it. You gotta limit yourself. Some people, they just agree it because it's porn and all that. And some people, they like it because it's, it's terrible. You don't focus so much. You hate it, of course. But it's because there's a sense of, it's not related to you. As much as you want to be angry. It's like an ant trying to be angry at viewing another terrarium. But actually, you can't say anything. Ants are completely different. When you look at an ant or any animal, they might quarrel. They sure as hell will stick to the other kind. That's the truth. And as much as I hate to say it, we, the animals, are so even much better than the humans. They agree to all these values. They have moral values that are better than the fucking humans. Wolves stay in their packs. Humans do not. They bend over for who? It's not because people want a community. They can't get a community. You keep complaining about all this kind of crap, but you're the ones who are making this kind of crap happen. You complain about the SJW. It's all a fucking retarded distraction. That's all it is. It's really the truth of all of the heart of this is really just a distraction. I don't care whether they talk about white guilt. They ought to be. Sure, your forefathers are the ones, not you. Take a look at the Japanese. Some Japanese men still hate us Chinese men. Our forefathers still hate them for what they did to our country. But it's the woman that's out of it. Woman independence. But we I like some Japanese meals. They're alright. Some, they're very... It depends. The truth of the matter is it's really just about honesty and everything. If you ask for honesty, I demand it in return. You give some, you get some. That's the truth of it. We all ought to just... If we can wake up, I feel like humanity is slipping away at such a rate, I don't know if it will be able to wake up and survive. I don't care anymore if they die of the vaccines. I don't care anymore if people are like so heartless if they die of COVID. They're following the system that's destroying them, and they keep believing in the very system that presupposedly they keep thinking it's saving them. It's not. They keep thinking there's nothing wrong. It's not. There is something completely fucking horribly wrong. You want happiness, but you go for a system that destroys your happiness. You want people to stop shooting each other, but you create a system that leads people to shooting each other. How are you gonna fucking, how are you gonna... You deserve it, every fucking act, if it's gonna come to you. I hope you do realize that if it's too late, if the COVID cases start rising up, and they finally say it's because of the vaccines, it's your own fault. You have nothing else, nobody else to blame. Not the government, not the anti-vaxxers, but yourselves, for going along with this system because of the government's saying. You agreed with it, under the name of safety. And everything else, according to whatever, blah, blah, blah. You all deserve this, but if we could treat each other with kindness, with respect, as we asked for it. I asked for something as simple. If you can't even give me a $10 change, I've given you back a $20 change or something. That's nothing. That's nothing. I give a lolly to you, or you ask me for a lolly, I give it to you. I'm not gonna ask anything back, but I do ask for your help and helping me something as small as helping me budge the door open. Okay, maybe that's a bit too much. Okay, my personal experience. I'm working very, very hard at, say, McDonald's, right? I give you my hash browns far away. I'm so fucking tired. Oh, okay, I'm here and I'm doing my best. I'm focusing on 3 different, 4 different things. I ask you for a hash brown, but you're listening on the phone. Okay, I don't care if you're bloody busy. Others will probably do the same thing, and you might bend over backwards for them because maybe, I don't know what, you're white or something, or maybe you just got different. I don't know. But if you do that, that's just, double standards, right? Double standards. Ought to get rid of it completely. And I ask, okay, I'm so tired. I don't want to bother asking. Can I please get a hash brown, please? Please, can I get a hash brown? And you don't give it. How on earth, if you ask me for something bigger than that, how on earth I'm going to give you back if you don't give me that? You got to do it, No, there's a limit in which kindness is given in this age. Because it's not considered, even if you give it, will people care about it anymore? Will people, okay, oh, I like that. Will people expect it? Will people be really appreciative of it? We are actually not humans that we take everything for granted. We really fucking take everything for granted. We are so spoiled at this age. We really are. We don't give a shit, actually, if kindness is given to us. Unfortunately, it's the same as my father, I've worked so hard for you. Why don't you give me anything in return? No, I give it to you. Women are like that. They don't give a shit about, honestly, all those kind of values. They only get what they like, and as long as they laugh. It's completely crap. Even if it's fucking detrimental, degrading to someone else, they laugh. But the truth is, one of these days they're gonna get punished for it. I'm sure of it, because of the future. It's the lack of resources, because they're accelerating the system. You really gotta blame the woman for it. Don't be a fucking simp. You really gotta blame. It's not the man's fault for not providing. It's the woman's fault for making herself a captor. If you keep complaining about patriarchy, you're having the same values as patriarchy that they taught you into it, and you still want to be fucking hell, mate. But all I can say is, don't,